thank you so much for taking the time to participate in this interview for my research project titled AI and Journalism in India. So, this is a part of my MSc dissertation at Brunel University, London. And today I'm really looking forward to learning from your professional experience. So, before we begin, just a few quick checks. Have you had a chance to read the participant information sheet?
Yes, I have.
Cool. And have you signed and returned the consent form?
Yes, I have.
Great. And are you comfortable with this interview being audio video recorded for academic use?
Absolutely no problems there.
Perfect. Again, a very warm welcome, Ritangshu.
Thank you, Katie. Happy to be here.
So, before we start, could you please briefly introduce yourself, your name, your role, and how long you have been in media, journalism industry, and the organization where you currently work with?
My name is Ritangshu Bhattacharya. I serve as the deputy editor at India Today Television, where I am in charge of the output function of the desk. I have been in this role with this company for the past 2 months, but my overall experience in this industry, especially in broadcast journalism, is 15 years.
Wow, that's amazing. And thank you so much, Ritangshu, for introducing yourself. So, in your field, do you use AI and which tools do you use?
Uh, well, the tool which I use on a personal basis on my day-to-day work schedule is mostly ChatGPT. Um, to an extent Perplexity
Mhm.
and Gemini. So if I would have to divide the person or assign percentages to how much I use either of these tools, I would say ChatGPT would be around 85 to 90%. Perplexity would be 7 to 8%, or maybe 10%, and Gemini for about 2 to 3% of the time.
Oh, so it means you most of the time you rely on ChatGPT.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So, what are your perceptions of AI generated news content or AI news anchors?
Okay, so when you say AI generated news content, for me that flags, I mean that's a red flag because news should be generated naturally and organically. AI, to my understanding and my ethical use, is still a tool to help the process of communicating news. So journalism is of two aspects. There's news gathering and there's news
Mhm.
and communicating the same information by putting in the context, by giving it the contextual understanding that makes it relevant and useful for your end user. So, in the second aspect, which is where the communication aspect comes in, AI can be a useful tool to streamline the news content in a format that is understandable and relevant and useful to your viewers. But to generate that content through AI, that becomes a bit of a problem because at the end of the day, news has to be generated naturally, and the information that's given to us has to be authentic and not something that is generated from AI. With
Okay.
AI, anchors is a separate issue because anchoring to me or news reading is part of the second aspect of journalism, which is communicating the information to the viewer. So if an AI anchor for some enhances or improves the process of communicating that information to the viewer, then that's a fair enough tool. But an AI anchor is not the one generating the news.
Yeah. So, as you told, like there is a process. Like first is news gathering, and then communication. So, what you prefer? You wanna gather the news through AI platforms? Like, what will be your choice if you got a two like chance? Either through our reporters, because sometimes we have a shortage of script writers, news reporters as well.
So news reporters are part of the news gathering, the first part of the chain, and editors and script writers are part of the second part of it. They form the editorial desk in any newsroom. So creatively, I've always been involved, attracted to the second part of it, in which I get all the raw information, the raw data from news coming in from my reporters. And it's my job to select which news is most important, most relevant, most urgent, and decide how to communicate it to the viewers, whether it be in the form of graphic tools, whether it be in the form of news video, whether it be in the form of a debate or a prime time debate. Those are the challenges which I look forward to when it comes to communicating the news. So, given a chance, I mean, reporter versus editor, I'll always prefer being an editor.
Oh, that's cool. That's amazing. So, what are your views on the use of AI in news analysis and dissemination?
I think that is it's a very exciting new opportunity because as long as AI is not the one creating the news, I think it is inevitable. And I feel that there are so many ways in which AI can make our life simpler. Like, for instance, if you go to ndtv.com, they've added a new feature where they have an AI tool that sums up the entire. If you open a news story, they have a tool in which they have an AI generated summary of the entire news story right at the top of the page. So if you don't have the time or the patience to read through the entire website web copy, you
Mhm.
can just read those AI generated lines at the top. However, they also put a disclaimer that this AI generated summary has been vetted by the editorial team as well. That is where our balance lies. While AI is an excellent tool to try and sum up, make the content more accessible, to make the content clearer, it is still something which needs to be kept on a leash and still needs manual intervention and manual monitoring, because AI still can make factual errors. It can make something as, especially the free version of the AI platform use, it can make something as simple as addition errors. So it needs, the ideal way I see it is a tool in the form of, say, Microsoft spell check, which you will use. But every time you do a Microsoft spell check, you also do manually run through it, because it may change, for instance, your name, it may change Kirti to something else.
Mhm.
So you have to constantly keep checking whether when you use spell check, whether it has changed and corrected the wrong things or not. The same, I think, approach needs to be used with AI.
Yeah, yeah. Like if someone is still using any AI tool to spell check, like for the grammar, still they need to recheck it. Still, it
Yeah.
requires like the manual checking. Agree with your point. So, in case of ethical concerns, like what ethicals are issues are raised by using AI in the news production process?
Okay. So in the news production process, the tools, I mean, AI has become quite lucrative because it helps bypass issues like copyright very easily. If, like, for instance, if I have to generate a visual image or a video for a story, for instance, something like stray dog bites in India,
Yeah.
instead of going through licensed footage and possibly paying for that footage, it's very easier for me to generate images and videos of dogs biting or dogs being looking ferocious and stuff like that.
Mm.
So that's the reason why in news production, which is again the communication aspect of news, AI is becoming quite attractive and quite useful as a tool. However, the ethical concern, to come back to the example which I just mentioned, is that um, if I'm generating a video of a stray dog biting and those are the exact prompts I'm giving, the video which I will get will be tailored and biased towards the prompt I've given. Might not be a naturally occurring video where I mean, if you see a video of a natural dog bite or stray dog attacking, there might be a hidden clue of the dog being aggravated or the dog being injured or the dog being unwell, which has led to the dog reacting though. An AI generated video will skip all those nuances and will give you exactly which I want to see, which is a ferocious dog chasing a person down or trying to bite that person. So that is the ethical conundrum involved in it. But given the fact that AI makes our job easier immensely in these aspects where there's an absence of stock footage or stock images, I think most of these concerns will often be overlooked.
Thank you so much, Ritangshu. But what are your views? Like, how are AI news anchors impacting human jobs in the media industry?
Well, so far, AI news anchors are very much a gimmick in the media industry in India at this point, and they're seen as a special attraction here. Uh, as long as editors trust on a human interface for an anchor, we're ready to take charge and handle news instinctively. I don't see AI anchors being necessarily replacing it right now, but it could happen in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what do you think? Like, do you believe AI anchors could replace human anchors in the future, or will they coexist, and why?
I definitely think there could be a place where at least maybe say 50% of anchors are AI anchors, because
Yeah.
anchoring requires a lot of presentability, a lot of aesthetics involved, and sometimes AI does that job better than humans. So I can totally see a future where a lot of the visual interface is taken over by AI anchors.
Wow, I heard something new from you. That's amazing because, yeah, most of the channels are using like AI models as a presenters. I totally agree with your point. But I have a question. As you told me about some websites, it was from previous question actually. As you told me, like some of the websites takes helps to like for making a headline. and they just copy paste, like they use AI to prepare the headlines. So they just do copy and pasting, or they just do some modifications or recheck according to the news.
Yes, so that happens, and that is lazy journalism and lazy storytelling. And unfortunately, AI has not reached that aspect, or at least free versions of AI, because media great channels rarely use paid premium versions of AI. Free versions of AI have not reached that level where that finesse and sophistication can be achieved. So, a very discerning viewer can easily understand whether it's an AI generated article or a manually written article.
Yeah, because like making a headline is a very big challenge or a task sometimes for reporters, sometimes for anchors as
Yeah,
well, for editors as well, because they will proofread and they will recheck either we need to do some modification or not. I totally agree with your point. So thank you so much, Ritangshu, for your valuable insights. And your
pleasure to me.
responses
Thank you.
have been incredibly helpful for my research. And I'm stop the recording now. So, do you have any questions for me or anything would you like to add before wrap up?
No, that's it.
Thank you so much. Let me
Thank you.
just